I got back, people would be like, "Hey, how's your trip?" And I'd be like, "Good." And that was it.
Mm.
And I just thought to myself, okay, no, there's more of a story than that. There's more to talk about here. So I decided to put together a little blog because I wanted to tell the whole story of that trip to Israel. The cool uh, tour guide we had named Boaz, because of course his name was Boaz. Um, he was a former Israeli military guy, and he worked in weapons ordnance disposal. And so as we're like driving around, all you see next to you are minefield, and I'm like, oh yeah, this would be my kind of field. So it was fascinating, and I felt like there was a really big story to tell. And I wanted to tell the story. I didn't have the venue to say it. So people are asking to work. Everybody just says, "Oh, it's good." You don't want to get the whole detail. It's kind of like when somebody says, like, "Hey, how are you doing?" You're like, "Well, I have stomach problems, and I've been on the toilet all morning." Like nobody's going to say that. You're just going to say, "Oh, I'm good," like everybody else says. So started the blog, and I started blogging more. And at first, I was writing these long, awesomely written articles that nobody was really reading. And so then I was thinking to myself, like, all right, I looked at my competition and I saw that they were taking marginal pictures. I was also taking marginal pictures, like an old, you know, point and shoot camera. And I was like, well, I don't like writing these long articles and nobody reads them anyway. And they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So if I take better pictures, I won't have to write as much because the whole 1,000 words thing. But then also, like from a business standpoint, I knew I wanted to make money for my blog someday. And so I looked at what my competitors were doing. They were writing great articles with marginal pictures. I figured, okay, I kind of am who I am as a writer. Um, but my pictures can get better faster than my writing can get better. And that can be what sets me apart. So I started taking pictures for andystravelblog.com. Couldn't think of a more creative title. And that just kind of picked up, man. Photography is very much a disease, and you have to be really careful when you want to get into it, because all of a sudden you're like, well, I need this lens and I need this lens. And what happened to all that money I used to have? Like, it's all invested in cameras now. It's kind of like buying a boat. You know, they say the two happiest days of your life are when you buy a boat, when you sell that boat.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it's kind of the same with photography, man. You're like, oh, cool, this is a great camera. It takes wonderful pictures. But then I think about how much money I spent on this thing. Like, man, it would have been nice to just use an iPhone and just never have learned about all this stuff. So started taking pictures for the blog when I would travel places. I always try to cheat when I take pictures. Like, if you either are in a really pretty place or are taking pictures of somebody who's really pretty, you don't really have to be that great of a photographer. But I got into that, learned more about it, and it's a nice creative outlet for me, because although I do believe there is art and data comparisons in Excel spreadsheets, because there's a lot of different ways to get to the same place, I needed a little bit more of a creative outlet, and it's kind of cool having my little slice of the internet, and being somewhat known for my photos now. And my blog is, by I think any metric, a successful blog. It's not huge by any means, but I reliably get 25 to 30,000 unique viewers a month, and have good page view traffic, and I make enough money to help pay for a trip or two every year from it. And that's led to a semi-professional photography career that I'm pretty dang proud of. And I think I did 15, $20,000 in business last year, against like $30,000 in expenses, but that's okay. Um, so yeah, it's gone from trying to take pictures of pretty landscapes and avoiding taking pictures of people to now taking headshots of people and having a decent business there. And you've been kind enough to use the picture that I took of you a couple times on your social medias.
Great
Um,
picture, by the way.
I mean, I've learned so much since then, and I cannot wait to get you in front of my camera again, because I'm so much more capable now than I was back then. I'm just as eager, but a lot more capable.
Hey, I love that.